Today I'm making a video that is a little different than the usual videos I have up on my channel, so be sure to like and leave a comment down below if you like this video, and I'll consider making something similar in the future. But I'm making this video because there was a new pack announced in the OCG. We only have 2 sentences of information on it, but there is a lot of information that we can infer just from those 2 sentences. This set is called Duelist Pack Duelists of the Abyss, and the description reads, "The latest pack, Duelist Pack Duelists of the Abyss, contains cards used by duelists from the anime series and manga, and will be on sale November 20th, 2021. Keep in mind this is an OCG set, so we will be receiving it at a much later date than this. This booster pack contains cards that supercharge decks used by 3 duelists who use water monsters." Now you might notice that the Duelist pack immediately before this happened to be wind-based and also featured 3 duelists. Notice a little bit of a pattern building here. That Duelist pack for us is going to be called Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm, and we have not yet received it. I am salty about this. So if you've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For a very long time like I have, you'll know that Konami likes to do things in patterns, and this is a really obvious one. So the first thing that we can kind of see here is that this is going to be part of the Legendary Duelist series, and that means that it's going to follow similar rules to previous Legendary Duelist sets. The most important rule is simply that if a deck appeared in a previous Legendary Duelist set, we are not going to be seeing it again. I'm sure if they were going to do that, we would have seen Harpies again in the Wind set rather than Sherry LeBlancs. However, the single biggest piece of information that we can get out of this is that we are most likely going to be receiving a Duelist pack for Fire and a Duelist pack for Earth. And there's something special about the Fire attribute in particular. It's not very common in the anime. In fact, there are only 3 anime characters who play pure Fire decks, so we can pretty much already tell what decks are going to be in that pack if we receive it. In fact, the only way that we don't receive Battle and Boxers, Salomon Great, and Volcanics, shout out to Byro, in particular, is if Konami decides to have a character like Rex Raptor be in the set just because Tyrant Dragon happens to be a fire monster. The Earth attribute is a little bit wider in terms of characters that could be appearing in an Earth-based set, but we can still make some educated guesses on which characters might appear. Boy, I'd love to see some super heavy samurai support. Now let's talk about the water set. I've heard other people bring up some characters online, so I've organized them in terms of characters who won't be in the set, characters who could be in the set, and the characters who are most likely in this set. Starting things off with characters who we won't see and immediately crushing some rumors is Brooke Walker. I've seen some people saying that we could see mermales in this set because this character played mermales, and it does say on the wiki that this character did play mermales. However, that is misleading. This character played mermales in a flashback. Zexal like to do this thing with certain characters where if they played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a flashback, they would be playing a different deck. And a lot of the times, it would be a deck that was meta at the time that the series was airing. So for example, Quattro in a flashback had a Gravekeeper deck. This character never actually played a mermail card in a current day game in the series, and actually only appeared in one duel as a whole. So there is not really a chance that we could ever see this character. In fact, her boss monster wasn't even a water attribute. Next up we have Princess Rose. This character appears to have only been brought up because she plays frogs. For reference, this is a filler character who appeared in the Society of Light arc around the time that they were attempting to slow down the plot in order to show off all of Jaden's brand new Neospacians. She only appeared in one duel, and I don't see there being a realistic reason why she would ever appear in a Duelist pack. Next up we have another character who I saw being brought up, Olga. Now Olga is somebody's attempt to put Elza into the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. Don't believe me? This character was inserted into the series at the same time as an Aladdin ripoff who played a Genie deck. Both of these characters never won an on-screen duel and were defeated off-screen twice. In fact, the Aladdin characters' cards have never been printed. Needless to say, neither of these characters are relevant enough to ever appear in a Duelist pack. The last character I have here, for characters who we definitely will not be seeing in this set, is actually Mako Tsunami. Now, this is obviously a more relevant character in the series, and one that people probably thought of immediately. However, Mako Tsunami has already appeared in a Legendary Duelist set, which should make him ineligible for this pack, if prior packs are any indication. I could be wrong here, but I highly doubt it. In the next category, characters we could see, I have 3 characters listed. Starting things off, I have Ali. Now, Ali is an interesting character. She didn't play in very many duels, but she had a lot of on-screen time. If you're not familiar with the series, think Tristan if Tristan was a little girl and could actually play. The other interesting thing about Ali is that all of the cards that she did play have already been printed, and they're actually not all that bad. With the right support, her Aqua Actress deck could actually be pretty good. Next up, I have a surprising one, Alexis from GX. Now, she has already appeared in a Duelist pack, but she plays a completely different deck in the manga. And there's already a precedent for this, as Zane has appeared in 2 of these Duelist packs, and in each one of them he was using a different strategy. The first time he appeared with Cyberdarks, and the next time he appeared with Cyber Dragons. And the interesting thing about this article is that it specifically says anime and manga. So unless there's a little bit of a mistranslation or misunderstanding, they might be hinting towards maybe a manga deck. It hasn't happened before in one of these, so it's unlikely, which is why she's in the possible category, but it is something that could happen. The final character I have as a possibility is Ren from the Arc 5 manga. Now, once again, he's only on here because the article says manga. If there's a change in the translation, he and Alexis immediately go off. But he's a pretty relevant character from the manga, and he plays a pretty strong deck that's mostly been printed so far. The White Aura deck. Now, I'm not super familiar with the Arc 5 manga, but I do know that he plays an all-water deck, and I do know that he's a pretty relevant character. So if they're going to go for a manga angle on this, he could be a possibility. Finally, I have the characters who I would consider most likely to be in this set. I believe that some combination of these next 4 characters are going to be the characters and decks who are going to be receiving future support in this set. Starting things off with the character who I believe is most likely going to be on the cover of the pack, we have Shark from Zexal. Now, Shark, aside from Mako Tsunami, is probably the most well-known water player in the entire franchise. So he feels like a shoo-in for being in this set. Additionally, you can do a lot with his support. You could focus it around rank 3s, rank 4s, rank 5s, or any combination of that. Additionally, later on in the series, he starts focusing more on the over 100 numbers, so you could focus on that with him as well. There's a lot you can do with this character, and if he gets the right support, he could probably result in a meta deck. Rank 4 water is already pretty solid. With the right support, it could definitely be a meta contender. Speaking of Shark, up next I have Shark's sister, Rio. Now, Rio plays a Winged Beast water deck up until the point in the series where she gets her Baryon form. Then she starts focusing more on the over 100 number. Now, there's a few things you could do with this character. You could just do the Winged Beast stuff, you could focus on the over 100 number, or you can take advantage of the fact that her deck is very similar to her brother's. You can maybe put some cards in it that incentivize playing the Winged Beast monsters in order to spam out rank 4 waters that already exist in the pool thanks to all of Shark's cards. There's just a lot that you can do with this character, and by having Shark and Rio in the same pack, you could even end up with a fused deck that just works better than either of them individually. It's a really cool concept, and I could see them throwing it into the set. Next up, I have Blue Maiden in her Marincess deck, and this one just seems really obvious, right? Like, it's not just me. This is a all-water deck that was pretty recently released. It's fairly modern, so it wouldn't take much support to make it good again. A lot of people still have it because it was in the tins. It was pretty hyped on release, so people picked it up. It just feels like a very easy way to sell the set and a very easy way to stick on theme. I definitely think this is going to be in here. In fact, if Shark isn't the cover, I think Blue Maiden will be. I have saved the best for last here. This is the last character who I think would be a high possibility of showing up in this set. Adrian Gecko and his Cloudians. Now, Cloudians have been a meme in the Yu-Gi-Oh community for a very long time. Pretty much on release they were a meme, because they've needed support since they were released. It's a really interesting deck, and it's just never been good. I think I've only ever seen one time that it did well at any large-scale event. The deck really needs support, and I'd really, really love to see what Konami could do with it, especially in the modern era. It needs a boss monster, it needs some spam cards, the deck's really slow, but you know what, if it can get even a little bit of support, I think it would be worth it. This is by far the deck that I most want to see in this set. So to summarize, I think that we're going to be seeing some combination of Adrian Gecko, Blue Maiden, Shark, or Rio in this set. Let me know if I missed anybody or if you just think I'm dead wrong. And also let me know which of the 3 sets that we might as well have confirmed at this point you are looking most forward to: Fire, Water, or Earth.